Sick of getting blisters? Stop slipping and just be comfortable with Pure Grip Socks Pro. Great fit, great comfort, lots of grip, and an even better price. Available now at puregripsocks.com.
Do you ever see a new pair of football boots and think to yourself, who are those actually for? And I'm being for real. If you think about any big sportswear brand, there are so many levels of approval that need to happen for a product to make it into production, and yet there somehow is always something that just comes out and it's totally questionable. This is one of those products, even though I think they're amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the brand new made in Japan Mizuno Morelia 2 in the latest Dyna pack colorway. What I think are hands down the best leather football boots money can buy in a colorway that I'm not sure anybody that would be interested in this style of football boot would even consider buying. It's like a reverse McDonald's colorway with the brightness turned all the way up. And they're about as expensive as a Happy Meal has gotten to, with a retail price of $280. However, you can pick them up below their normal retail price by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes via the first link down below. Blindingly bright colorway aside, for those of you that like to ask what boots I play in when I'm not testing out new products, the Morelia 2 made in Japan is one of those football boots, and it's for a couple different reasons. Reason number one, it is one of very few football boots that feature a full kangaroo leather upper, and as far as kangaroo leather quality is concerned, this is as good as it gets. Incredibly soft, basically like sliding a pair of slippers on your feet, with this nice deep U-throat construction, standalone lacing system, and tongue. It really just creates the perfect wrap around your foot and a level of comfort that you simply will not get from any other football boot. And because the entire upper is made from the same kangaroo leather material, you get a consistency of touch that we just don't see that often in the world of football boots anymore. The Mizuno Runbird logo is the only synthetic you'll find on the upper, and it's strategically placed through the midfoot for the sake of structural integrity. That of course does not make this anywhere near as responsive as some of the more popular football boots out there. Certainly if you wanted a little bit more of that speed boot feel, particularly in this colorway, I would definitely recommend taking a look at the Morelia Neo 4. Still giving you the kangaroo leather in the forefoot, but with some synthetics through the midfoot that will give you that more kind of tight, locked in, one-to-one speed boot sensation that so many people are into these days. But for me, the ability to just put my feet inside of a football boot and not have to think about it anymore because of how comfortable they are, that to me is a true sign of comfort. Slide them on and forget about them. Just play the game, don't worry about your boots. That's what makes these so special. What's also super unique about these football boots is, despite the traditional look of the upper and especially the sole plate, which is kind of a little bit more highlighted in this colorway than some of the other ones, utilizes modern plastics, making this significantly lighter than what you would expect them to be, which we'll see in just a second. And the feel of the sole plate has that modern sensation. It's got good flexibility to it, so obviously traditional in feel to some extent. Of course, the stud pattern, this being the FG layout, is definitely on the more traditional side, closer to the ground, larger profile to the stud, so definitely not as much bite as what you're gonna find from most top-end football boots these days, but you have a nice freedom to twist and pivot, and the overall stability is great. Not to mention, stud pressure is a non-issue here because of how evenly distributed the pressure is across the bottom of the sole plate. Plus, they are made in Japan Mizuno boots, so as you can see, 3 rivets at the tip of the toe, 3 rivets at the heel. The build quality, the quality of materials, the long-term durability of a product like this is truly second to none. So again, while they are expensive at $280, you genuinely do get what you pay for. And I think more often than not, if you gave these a try, you wouldn't feel like you overpaid. And like I mentioned, they're a lot lighter than you might expect. To prove that, we're gonna compare it to what is arguably the hottest boot on the market right now in the Predator 24 Elite FT, also retailing coincidentally for the same $280, both in the same size 9.5 US. We'll throw the Preds on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.8 ounces, the equivalent of 221 grams. Change the scale back to ounces, and we'll throw on the Made in Japan Morelia 2, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.7 ounces, the equivalent of 219 grams. On feet, while comfort is totally a subjective thing and everyone's gonna have their own opinion, I think if most people got the opportunity to try these on, they would agree that this is the most comfortable football boot on the market. The shaping, the softness of the kangaroo leather across your entire foot, the flexibility of the sole plate. This feels like a pair of football boots that you could genuinely sleep in with no discomfort whatsoever. You put them on and they disappear because they just feel that good. The shaping of the Morelia 2 is also something that you need to take note of, because I think a lot of people look at a football boot like this and want to compare it to something like a classic Copa Mundial from Adidas, and while they do share their similarities in terms of some components, predominantly the full kangaroo leather upper, these are not shaped like old school football boots. They have a very modern shaping with a good amount of volume, a good amount of width, and again, one of those shapes that just feels pretty well perfect out of the box. When it comes to width, because the entire upper is made from kangaroo leather and you get that nice deep central lacing system, there's plenty of adjustability, and of course as you wear them in, the leather is going to stretch that little bit and form to the exact shape of your feet. So whether you have narrow feet or wide feet, these are going to work well for just about everybody. And then as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, I'm not trying to suggest that these are the perfect football boots for everybody, because that's just not the case. You could have preferences for boots that feel pretty well like the exact opposite of these. However, if you're a fan of leather football boots, in my opinion, having tried just about everything, this is as good as it gets. And perhaps more importantly, if you're somebody that often finds yourself struggling to find a comfortable fit from the latest and most popular football boots, maybe it's time to try something different and go for a Made in Japan Morelia 2, because I can assure you they are one of the only football boots you can put on your feet and completely forget about.